सत्यभामा माता जी क्लास ले रहे हैं, अभी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं.
Yeah, yes, Mataji, I have joined. Which verse, Raksha Mataji?
132 onwards, Mataji.
Okay,
Fifth
Hare.
chapter.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Dandot pranam to all devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमांबर दिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते. So we are in this Vyasa Puja chapter 5 and verse 132. So I'll go one verse before 131. आपने करिया छेना षडभुज दर्शन तारे प्रीते काई तन तेसा पाकथान. He personally saw the six-armed form of the Lord. Therefore, I am describing these topics for his pleasure. Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that Shri Nityananda Prabhu saw the six-armed form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaur Sundara, and therefore by describing that pastime, Nityananda Prabhu is going to be pleased. So Acharya is going to describe that entire pastime here. 132 to 134. परमार्थे नित्यानंद ताहा नारदाया दोने दोना देखीते आचेना सुनिश्चय तथापि अवतार अनुरूप केला करे न ईश्वर सेवा के भुजिबे लीला से ये स्वीकारा प्रभु कराय आपने ताहा गाये बने वेदे भारते पुराणे. On the spiritual platform, Nityananda Prabhu always sees the pastime of Sri Gaur Sundara in his heart, and they certainly both always see each other. Yet Sri Nityananda serves the Lord by acting in accordance with the pastimes of their incarnations. Who can understand his pastimes? The Supreme Lord thus accepts service from himself as sung about and described in the Vedas, the Mahabharata and the Puranas. Although Sri Nityananda Prabhu constantly sees the pastime of Sri Gaura Sundara within his heart, and Sri Gaura Sundara also exhibits all his pastimes to Nityananda, for the understanding of ordinary people, Nityananda externally displays pastimes in accordance with their particular incarnations. In spite of being the Supreme Lord himself, Sri Nityananda Prabhu serves the Lord. This pastime of Nityananda is incomprehensible to ordinary people. The topics of Nityananda's pastime as a servant are described in the Vedas, the Mahabharata, and the Puranas. So earlier we have discussed that Balaram, Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram himself. He is non-different from Krishna because he is the first expansion of from Krishna. And the only difference is Krishna is the Savior Bhagavan and Nityananda Prabhu is the Sevak Bhagavan. The mood changes. In Nityananda Prabhu, he always eternally wants to serve the Lord. So here it is explained that although Nityananda Prabhu is also the Lord, but he never shows that, and in his heart, eternally the pastimes of Radha Krishna are being manifested. But just for the time, place, and circumstances, he behaves differently. And in this case also, he is worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Gaur Sundara at the Vyasa Puja. ये कर्म कराए प्रभु से हाया वेदा ताही गाया सर्व वेदे चाड़ी सर्व भेदा. The activities performed by the Supreme Lord are called Veda. The four Vedas sing of those activities while avoiding all contradictions. The Vedas glorify the activities performed by the Supreme Lord. The intention of the Vedas is to reveal the activities of the Supreme Lord. The activities of the Lord are the actual subject matter of the Vedas. तो यहाँ पे एकदम गुह्य बात कही जा रही है कि जब कोई कहता है कि मुझे चारों वेदों को समझना है, चतुर्वेदी है, त्रिवेदी है, जैसे हम लोग ऐसे सरनेम हुआ करते हैं इंडिया में. So they are known to be knowing all the Vedas. But if they don't know the important purport of Veda, so what is it here being stated? And also in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, if somebody can remember that verse. So where Krishna says, I am the essence of all the Vedas. Can somebody say that verse? Raksha Mataji, Aruna Mataji. So the Vedas do not establish any contradictory statements in their glorification of Advaita Jnana Lord or the Absolute Lord.
Mataji, may I?
Yes.
Yes, yes. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत स्मृति ज्ञानमुपोहनं च वेदेश सर्वैरहमेव वेदो वेदांत कृते कृतेव चाहम्.
It's very good. Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the same thing is been said by Vrindavan Das Thakur here, that the essence, the intention of the Vedas is to reveal the activities of the Supreme Lord. अगर किसी ने सारे वेदों का ज्ञान ले लिया मगर उन्होंने समझा ही नहीं कि उसका तात्पर्य क्या है, वेद पढ़ने का तात्पर्य क्या है या वेद गाने का तात्पर्य क्या है. लाइक कहीं प्रांतों में ये होता है कि लोग वेद रिसाइट करते हैं, साम वेद रिसाइट करते हैं या यजुर्वेद रिसाइट करते हैं. अगर लोगों को बताते नहीं है कि वेदों के जो पूज्य भगवान है या वेदों से हमें क्या जानना है अबाउट द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, फिर उसका कोई वो व्यर्थ हो जाता है. समझ रहे ना आप? सो द सेम थिंग इज बीइंग सेड दैट द वेदास वांट टू रिवील द एक्टिविटीज ऑफ द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, and that is the subject matter of the Vedas. So the Vedas subject matter. So, and Krishna says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita himself. That is the song by himself to Arjuna in the battlefield. He says, सारे वेदों में मुझे ही आपको जानना है. किसे जानना है? कृष्ण, भगवान कृष्ण को ही हमें जानना है. The topics of Advaita Jnana Hari are sung in Vedas without contradiction. And it is people, mundane people, speculators cannot understand how the Lord is engaged in fruitive activities. Like in Dwarka, he is like living with all his 16,100 wives, or he is doing, he is unborn, but still he is born in Vrindavana, Gokul. And people are not able to, understand these things. And there are some contradictions. They say, okay, then if he is transcendental, then how is he doing all these mundane activities like a grahastha or, doing so many other fruitive activities as well. So only devotees know that the Supreme Lord is transcendental and the Lord is not affected. So there are no contradictions, unlike people in mundane, speculators, जो खाली स्पेक्युलेट करते हैं, उनको लगेगा अरे ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है, बट लॉर्ड में कोई कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन नहीं है. एंड ऑल कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस रिजॉल्व विद इन लॉर्ड इटसेल्फ. भक्ति योगा विनाइहा भुजा नानाया जाने जन कथा गौर चंद्रेर कृपाया. Without engaging in devotional service, no one can understand this. This is known to a few people by the mercy of Gaura Chandra. So who will know that the purpose of all Vedas is Krishna only? Only people who are in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Those persons with prominent materialistic propensities or those who are mental speculators cannot understand the actual characteristics of devotional service. ये आप गांठ बांध करके रख लीजिए कि हम अगर जब दूसरे को कृष्णा के बारे में बताते हैं, immediately you will see that not everybody is accepting. Among hundreds and thousands of people, one or two may be eager and may ask you, can you say a bit more? I'm keen. So that is the predominant part of the society is still having materialistic propensities, and they are into the mental speculating category. Only those who are favored by Lord. So to understand about Lord also, you need mercy of Lord. You need sukriti of great devotees. हमें सुकृति चाहिए, उसके बिना हम भगवान को समझ नहीं सकते, हम एक्सेप्ट भी नहीं कर सकते हैं. कई लोग समझो 15-20 साल डिवोशनल सर्विस के बाद भी वो इल्यूजन में डिसइल्यूशन हो जाते हैं सडनली. सडनली उनको ये हो जाता है, अरे हम इतना जप कर रहे हैं, हमारा कुछ प्रोग्रेस नहीं हो रहा है, फिर भी हमारे साथ इतना बुरा हो रहा है। सो भक्ति करने का ये मतलब नहीं है कि हमको कुछ अड़चन नहीं आएंगे या हमें प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं आएंगे। प्रॉब्लम्स तो आएंगे, बट ओनली लॉर्ड इज ऑलवेज विथ यू एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रॉब्लम यू थिंक, व्हाई मी, व्हाई आई एम गेटिंग दिस प्रॉब्लम, then you are gone. The only thing you pray more, you are praying always, but you pray more, and Krishna is with you at the time of problems. Like Kunti Maharani says, she is a very great devotee, and we cannot do anukaran of what she has said, that she says, keep on giving me miseries, vipadam santudata Sattva. She keeps on saying, please give me those miseries again and again, so that, oh Lord Krishna, you are with me. We cannot say that, because we will all drown and get smashed by one problem of when Lord gives us one situation. So the purport of saying is that only those people who are in devotional service can understand that even the problems which I'm getting are again mercy of Krishna, so that I get closer, one step closer to Krishna, one step closer to the higher purpose. And Krishna, maybe I was going wayward, I was doing some materialistic activities, so Krishna says, now you remember me, now you focus on me and hold on to my lotus feet. So only those who are favored by Mahaprabhu can realize the pastimes of Gaura through devotional service. So we need mercy to take up devotional service. We need mercy to continue our devotional service, and we need to be unperturbed by any amount of misery we may get. And it does not mean that having taken devotional service, we don't get misery. Lord keeps on testing, and he tests more devotees. Devotees को तो ज्यादा ही टेस्ट करेंगे कि ये अपने पाथ पे, डिवोशनल सर्विस पे अड़ा है ये कि नहीं. There might be people who say, oh, I have taken to chanting, I have taken to devotional service, but still I'm getting so much misery. No, the devotees think differently. They think that, oh, this is again Krishna opening my eyes, and Krishna is closer to me, and this by this event or by this incident, he is making me realize a lesson. So try to find the lesson Krishna is teaching you in every situation, whether it is good or bad. So that is why it is said, Dhira Purusha, whether it is some happiness or sadness, if you remain equipoised, that both are coming by the mercy of Lord, then you will neither get too much elated or not get too much sorrowful, and at the same time able to sail like a Dhira Purusha through the waves of material world's miseries. And Lord makes you realize that this material world, don't make yourself comfortable here. Everything is temporary. Your current situation, your situation which is going to come tomorrow, everything is temporary. So the Lord makes you realize that every situation is temporary, and you should not leave the lotus feet of Lord, of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra at any point in time. 137. Nitya Shuddha Jnanavanta Vaishnava Sakala Tabe ye kala dekha sabha kutuhala. The Vaishnavas are eternally pure and full of knowledge. Their quarreling is simply part of their pastimes. The pure Vaishnavas are full of eternally pure knowledge. The differences of opinion seen among such exalted Vaishnavas is simply for increasing the wonders. There are actually no differences of opinion among Vaishnavas. Differences of opinion are only present among mental speculators. So if you talk to any Vaishnava and if you talk to material people, you will immediately come to know the difference, because the Vaishnavas will not feel the 5, 6 vices. They will not feel envious, they will not feel angry, they will not feel having any of the other vices, because they know the supreme goal is different. All of us are going on the same, on the path to the supreme goal. The higher purpose is different, whereas the mental speculators think they are the controllers and they have their boundaries made around them. So they think, oh, the moment I make friendship, this person is going to ask me for some favors from me. So the mental speculators, the moment you talk to materialistic people and the moment you talk to devotees, this you will come to know the difference instantaneously. And as you progress in the path of devotion, you will feel that the time spent with your materialistic people, you feel, oh, what a waste. You will start becoming silent. You will not take their association and rather give your association and try to be very silent among them, because once I heard long time in a lecture, you just have to find out the person is inclined to spirituality or material or is in material. You just have to ask him what is his goal in life. The moment you ask him what is his goal in life, you will get the answer. He will say, "मुझे ये बनना है, वो बनना है, मुझे ये achieve करना है." Then you immediately know what is whether he's a materialistic person or spiritual or he's on a spiritual path. Whereas you ask a devotee, they'll say, मेरी साधना ऐसी हो रही है, मुझे और इंक्रीज करना है, मुझे डिवोशनल सर्विस में और आगे बढ़ना है, और मुझे डिवोटी के संग में रहना है कि मैं जैसे ही डिवोटी के संग में नहीं रहती हूँ, आई फील फिश आउट ऑफ वाटर. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स यू विल गेट टू हियर and you will immediately know who is what person. The difference of opinion among Vaishnavas found among Vaishnavas expands the variety of their constitutional activities. In those, there is no question of material enjoyment, renunciation, or pseudo devotional service. So, like a little bit what we were talking about, it is said that the Vaishnavas, there is no question of material enjoyment, okay, and or pseudo devotional service. So, that is how devotees are. इहा ना भुजिया कोना बुद्धि नासा एका वंदे आरे निंदे या बेके नासा. If someone who has lost his intelligence and does not understand this worships one and criticizes the other, he will be ruined. Those who do not understand this fact and consider that one Vaishnava is eternally pure knowledge, while another Vaishnava does not understood to have perverted intelligence, while another Vaishnava does not are understood to have perverted intelligence. So if you try to divide the Vaishnavas and say, oh, this person has got pure knowledge, whereas this other Vaishnava has no knowledge, that's a wrong thing to do. What will be the end result? That we will be ruined. The confidential mystery in this regard is that if one accepts a non-Vaishnava as a Vaishnava without knowing the difference between a Vaishnava and a non-Vaishnava, then such a misconception will spread among the Vaishnavas and create bewilderment. That is why differentiating, even Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction has said that you have to differentiate between the people, between Vaishnava and non-Vaishnava, and recognize and then have your association with the right group of devotees or Vaishnavas. So never discriminate between Vaishnavas. Sometimes it is even said that even non-Vaishnavas don't criticize or have a dvesh with anyone. So devotees who are on higher level, like Uttam Adhikari, they see every living entity with the same bhav. They look equally at everyone, whether it is Vaishnava, non-Vaishnava. Their mercy, you would see that when you see Maharajas or Guru Maharaj. So we should, they are at a Uttam Adhikari stage, but at our level, Madhyam Adhikari or Kanishta Adhikari levels, Kanishta Adhikari, I should talk more about Kanishta. We should not differentiate and better avoid even commenting on even non-Vaishnavas, because we don't want to accumulate any type of aparadha or never have dvesha, because at the end of our life, we should not have any dvesha towards anyone, and not have any distinction between this Vaishnava is this and that Vaishnava is this. So avoid all kinds of blaspheming, criticism or comments. Text 139. अभयारचयित्वा प्रतिमाशु विष्णुं निन्दं जाने सर्वगतं तमेव अभ्यारच्य पादौ हि द्विजस्य मूर्धि दुर्यानि वाचनो नरकं प्रयाति. Just as a foolish person who worships the feet of a brahmana and then beats him in the head goes to hell, one who worships the deity lord of form of Lord Vishnu and then disrespects that same Lord who is situated in the hearts of all living entities also goes to hell. So it's so one should not do that. He only worships the deity form like the Karishta Adhikari would do. It is stated in extra of instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami that in the Kanishta stage, in the newly formed, people who are come to the spiritual path, they will respect the deity in the temple, but they will disrespect all Vaishnavas. That should not be done because the Supreme Personality of Lord is residing in the hearts of every living entity. And that's why when you look at the qualities of an Uttamadhikari, he looks at all living entities at the same loving affection form. 140 and 41. वैष्णव हिंसारा कथा से ठाकु का दूरे सहज जीवे रे ये अधम पीड़ा करे विष्णु पूजी आओ ये प्रजहारा पीड़ा करे पूजा हो निष्फले या आरा दुखे मारे. What to speak of being envious of Vaishnavas if one causes pain to ordinary living entities? He is considered a fallen low-class person. Even after worshipping Lord Vishnu, if a person gives trouble to other living entities, his worship becomes fruitless. Such a person suffers unlimited miseries. So these are very, very, very important paragraphs or passages we are reading that for a Vaishnava, Jivedaya is very, very important. There are three things: Jivedaya, Name Ruchi, and Vaishnava Seva. Until and unless one have Jivedaya, one doesn't even progress further. So that is what it says. The chanting, when you chant the holy names of Lord, people, new devotees who take up chanting, the chanting is supposed to do what is the first thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. It is supposed to cleanse. So when Samudra Manthan was going on, what comes out first is the Visha, the poison, the halal poison came out. Similarly, when we do chanting, when we chant the holy name of Lord, we'll get all sorts of negative thoughts and all. We'll be wondering suddenly what is happening to me. I'm chanting, but so many things. So this is the Visha, the anarthas which are coming out. So it is said that years of chanting should make your heart nirmal. The purpose of chanting is to cleanse. Recently, Guru Maharaj was giving lecture. I'm not sure it was in Delhi. He says, keep your mind free of any dirt. So the mind is one of the cause. We have to deliver our mind before even we think that we can go to Lord's Dham. So that is the toughest part, to deliver our mind. After the gross body goes, the subtle body, mind, intelligence, self-ego, this doesn't travel beyond Viraja river. So the mind is also to be delivered. And then Maharaj was hammering the statement that cleanse your mind, heart. So he says, remove dirty things from your mind and always think about Krishna. So this is very recent lecture last week. So it is so relevant that we can't even think of harming any living entity. Jare deke tare kao Krishna Upadesh, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, subtly and slowly, whoever is harming living entities, you can slowly tell them. Recently, I met a family in Bengal, in Kolkata, in last week yatra. They were friends of my daughter's classmate. The mother said, I'm slowly moving to, because Bengalis, they might be eating because of their background. She said, I'm slowly moving to, I moved to vegetarianism, but the daughter was still having. So I slowly just told the technical points that what are you doing when you're eating, something which is so, told that we cannot offer this to Krishna and you are killing another living entity. Please remember this. So they listened nicely. So probably I feel the mother was really understanding, and I hope that one day the daughter of that family also understands and leaves up eating non-vegetarian. So we should not harm any living entity, and we have no right to harm any living entity, and we can't get cause misery to any living entity. So because the Paramatma, Shirodaksha Vishnu, is residing in every living entity. So that way you will get Jivedaya, and chanting, staying with Guru Sadhu Shastra, and listening and repeated listening and repeated shravanam and repeated reading will help you in that. And staying in association of devotees will help you to become more nirmal towards every living entity. Those endowed with an absence of jivedaya. Oh, the same word is coming here. So let me read that last line again. Apart from this, if even persons claiming to be devotees of Vishnu are envious of ordinary living entities, give various troubles to them, they are actually far away from devotional service to Vishnu and are not fit to be called human beings. The worship of Vishnu becomes the source of their worship of Vishnu becomes a source of misery, because they are not respecting other living entities, so they are having issues while worshipping Vishnu also. Those endowed with an absence of jivedaya or compassion for other living entities and yet proudly consider themselves a servant of Vishnu achieve the threefold miseries rather than the devotional service of Lord. Sometimes, it is better to analyze certain situations we are in. Some tough situation, all of us face some upheavals in life. And when you analyze, there will be one or two reasons. One is we would have done Harinam aparad towards the holy name, or we would have done aparad towards other living entities. This could be, and this could be anybody. Living entities means doesn't mean any animal, just animals. It could be towards our parents, it could be towards our brothers and sisters, it could be our close kids, or maybe somebody in office. So just carefully sit and analyze, and you will realize that something you would have thought in the mind or done something knowingly, something unknowingly, and that comes as a misery to us in the same lifetime. Text 142. Sarva bhute achena Shri Vishnu na janiya Vishnu puja kare ati prakritrahaya. The worship of persons who do not know that Lord Vishnu is present within the heart of every living entity is certainly materialistic. The worship of persons who do not know that Vishnu is present within the heart of every living entity. Activities performed through material senses by conditioned souls who desire to enjoy the results are called prakrita or materialistics. Those who consider that the super soul Lord Vishnu is not present within each and every atom of gross and subtle matter and consider that he does not exist within the hearts of all living, in such persons, worship of Vishnu is simply cheating and materialistic rascal. So it is very difficult to associate with persons who do not know that Vishnu or the super soul is present within every single atom and subtle matter, and consider that he does not exist within the heart of all living, and they don't consider that Lord is living in the heart of everyone. To that person, what can we go and tell him? And such persons worship of Vishnu, if that person goes and worship Vishnu, is simply cheating, and it is materialistic rascaldom, is what the Acharya is saying. So that person's worship is completely materialistic. He is called Prakrita, and his worship is simply cheating the Lord. So we should all feel fortunate that we are able to understand that when through the help of Guru Sadhu Shastra, through our Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, we are able to understand this essence of yesterday Srila Prabhupada was saying, people should understand that important lesson. And the important thing is, we are not this body, we are the soul. This basic thing itself teaching to the other people in the world, 99% of the people probably are roaming around like cats and dogs, enjoying the materialistic activity without understanding basic. So Srila Prabhupada says it that people has to understand this basic thing, that you are not this body, you are the soul. And then ultimately what is our Sanatan Dharma or what is our Jeever Swarup, वो Christian, ये दो चीज समझाने में ही लाइफ टाइम्स निकल जाते हैं. So then they will understand that the Paramatma, once they understand this, they will understand that the Paramatma is the one which is driving the Jiva, is always with the jiva within this body, because we are using this body as our temporary residence, and to the next life, to the next body, until and unless the next body is created, the jiva cannot go. So there was a question recently when in Narayana's body, every jiva is in the Sushupta stage or is in a dormant stage. Even after death, then jiva leaves the body, it goes back and is it in oblivion. It is like, you can say, suspended. It is suspended in the world. And although the Supreme Paramatma is guiding the jiva, until and unless another body is formed based on his desire, last minute desire, or whatever karmas he has done, the jiva doesn't take another body. So making this understand, and making people understand that the living, in all living entities, the same Paramatma is there, is very, very difficult. Not everybody buys into this the philosophy. Eka haste yena vipracharane pakhale, ara haste dela mare mathaya kapale. Their worship is like someone who washes the feet of a brahmana with one hand and beats him on the head with the other hand. So this is the worst thing to do. On one hand, you are serving, giving some bhiksha or giving something to brahmana. At the same time, you are disrespecting the person, or so may not mean literally hitting him on the head, but disrespecting him completely. It is not going to be no use. It will going to be completely wasted. As it is inconsistent of a person, inconsistent if a person hits the head of a brahmana with a stone with one hand and washes his feet with the other hand. Similarly, if one worships Lord Vishnu but is indifferent to the worship of a Vaishnava who is not different from Vishnu, then that worship becomes the source of misery. That is why in the previous pair also it was said that when that materialistic person who has no knowledge about the living entities and such person worship Vishnu, it will bring him miseries, is what being stated in the one or two verses before. Also we read the same thing. So we'll stop here and we'll continue tomorrow from 144. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vaishnav Vrind, अनेक वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वंडरफुल क्लास. माता जी, एक क्वेश्चन था कि अगर हमें हमारे जो अपराध होते हैं, तो जो मटेरियलिस्टिक पीपल होते हैं उनके साथ भी अगर हम कुछ ऐसा बोलते तो भी अपराध हो जाएगा?
माता जी, इसमें ना इंटेंशन डिपेंड करता है. अगर हम इंटेंट करते हैं किसी को हर्ट पहुंचाने का, तो वो भी कहलाता है. तो मैंने एक ग्रेट वैष्णवा से सुना है कि बस मुंह अपना बंद रखिए, हरि सुनिए और भगवान के बारे में सुनिए, लीला सुनिए. आपको नौकरी में जाना है, नौकरी अपना वो नियमित समय में नौकरी करके आ जाइए. अननेसेसरी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स या किसी में हमारा टाइम व्यर्थ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि हमें मालूम है ये नौकरी भी हमारी टेम्पररी है, हमारी ये पोजीशन भी टेम्पररी है. इफ यू रिमेंबर श्रील प्रभुपाद एंड आचार्य सेइंग, द डेजिग्नेशन, आई एम द मैनेजर, आई एम द हेड, और आई एम executive, or anything, I am running this business, is all temporary towards this body. Even this name, आपका नाम रक्षा है या मेरा नाम कुछ है, the name is to the body. So if we are in that understanding, then we just do our duty. अगर 8 घंटे की ड्यूटी है, 7 घंटे की ड्यूटी हम करके फिर जब भी समय मिला हम उधर भी रीडिंग कर लें थोड़ा. ये मैंने बहुत बड़े वैष्णव से सुना है. सो इसलिए हमें ज्यादातर हम ये यूज करना चाहिए. और हमें वहां पे भी कोई मीटिंग है तो आप वहां पे एक काउंटर ले जाइए, आप अपना चैंटिंग करिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. आप मीटिंग में जो बातें हो रही है वो भी फालतू ही बातें होती है, और पीपल टॉक फॉर आवर्स विदाउट एनी कंक्लूजन, बट स्टिल यू हैव टू बी इन द मीटिंग. सो ये मैंने सुना. हम किसी के भी द्वेष नहीं रखना, हमें किसी को भी हर्टिंगली बात नहीं करना. दिस इज अ नॉर्मल ह्यूमैनिटी. इवन यू सी मेनी स्ट्रीम्स ऑफ अदर वे पाथ्स ऑफ डिवोशन, दे आल्सो से यू डोंट हैव टू हर्ट इवन एनीबॉडी. सो हर्टिंगली हमें नहीं बात करना. मतलब अगर आपको कुछ बताना है उनको एब्सोल्यूट ट्रूथ के बारे में या कृष्णा के बारे में आप बताइए। और
माता
हमें
जी एक
किसी के
प्रश्न
साथ
ऐसा था।
आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं करना है। हाँ हाँ बताइए।
यस माता जी मेरे घर में ऐसा होता है कि अगर मैं जो भी पढ़ती हूँ और उसको मैं इतना ईगरली सबको बताना चाहती हूँ कि ये थोड़ा सा मतलब सब नहीं बता सकती क्योंकि दे डोंट नो एनीथिंग और दे डोंट हैव एनी इंटरेस्ट आल्सो, मगर वो कभी भी बोलती हूँ कुछ भी श्लोका भी बोलती हूँ तो सब लोग मुझे बोल देते आप चुप रहिए,
हाँ
डायरेक्टली बोल देते। तो मुझे
करेक्ट।
इतना बुरा लग जाता है कि मैं जो पढ़ती हूँ वो मैं किसी को मेरे एटलीस्ट मेरे घर वालों को मैं समझा नहीं पा रही हूँ।
ट्रू। माता जी हमारे साथ भी होता है, शुरुआत में हुआ है, बीच में भी हुआ है। तो हमें मुझे यही बताया गया है, हिज ग्रेस कमलोचन प्रभु जी ने बोला कि, एंड शिला प्रभुपाद ने भी बताया है कि आवर इंटेंसिटी ऑफ प्रेयर दैट मेरे घर वाले भक्ति में आ जाएं या मेरे सुने शुड बी मोर देन देयर इंटेंसिटी। अगर जिस दिन मेरी इंटेंसिटी बढ़ जाती है माता जी की मैं प्रे करूँ, तो आप रोज अपना प्रेयर करती है भगवान के सामने करिए या फिर वो जो घर वाले नहीं है दूसरे रूम में करिए, आप करिए जरूर प्रेयर। मन में भी कर सकते हैं, कोई अष्टकम पढ़ना है, कोई श्लोक पढ़ना आप पढ़िए, या वो लोग नहीं है या दूसरे रूम में कर सकते हैं। एंड ऑल्सो प्रे वन लाइन दैट ओ लॉर्ड ब्रिंग देम। तो ऐसे ही मैंने भी किया था और मेरे मदर फादर ने भी चैंटिंग प्रोसेस लिया। एंड टुवर्ड्स एंड माय मदर स्टडीड भगवत गीता, एंटायर बुक शी स्टडीड। So it is our prayer, and I have read this, I have heard this many times, that our intensity should be greater than their intensity of not joining this process. तो जिस दिन हमारी इंटेंसिटी बढ़ जाएगी, आप प्रे करिए गुरु परंपरा से, गौर निताई से, तो अपने आप वो लोग भी आ जाएंगे। आई हैव सीन दिस हैपनिंग। सो even although my brother would have not come to the process fully, but when he starts conversation he says Hare Krishna, so and ending conversation we say Hare Krishna, so at least they do that. He might not have taken up chanting, so we can only pray Mataji, and our intensity can get bigger than the way they are their intensities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you माता जी, so wonderful, thank you.
So we'll end the class here. Thank you all for joining. Dandavат Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, thanks for wonderful answer. Our intensity has to be more than their intensity. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.